been almost 20 years since Dead Rising came out on the Xbox 360, and now we've got a remaster. Hello, this is Robert with Society Case Files with a game review for Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster. Please take a moment to like and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this. Dead Rising originally came out in 2006. I played it on the Xbox 360 with an old 27-inch TV that weighed upwards of around 200 pounds. It wasn't HD, so I couldn't even really read the fonts on the screen. It was pretty tragic. So since some of the characters didn't even have voiceovers, I had no idea what they wanted and what they were saying. It was pretty crazy. However, that was only really part of the problem, considering that my first experience involved doing the intro where you're in the helicopter taking pictures, and as soon as I landed, the game crashed. So I had to do it all over again. So once I got through the intro a second time, I finally reached the mall and got to start killing some zombies. I had no idea what people were saying, but it was still pretty fun. And then I got a red ring on my Xbox. Had to get a warranty repair. The game felt pretty cursed at that point, but while I waited for my fixed Xbox to come back, I bought a 32-inch flat screen HD TV, and then I could finally really play the game properly. So after all the drama to get it going, it was just okay. I mean, it was neat that you could run around the mall and waste zombies, and the playground aspect was fun, but the game got mired down by the constant interruptions from the security folks and some seriously annoying survivors, and if you've played the game, you probably know the kind of people I'm talking about. When you couple that with the fact that it had a lot of annoying bugs, and in particular, my personal favorite was when I first got to the food court to advance one of the cases, the game just crashed. And because of how the save system worked, it pretty much put me back to the beginning, and I had to just do it all again, one more time. So once you counted up all of the frustrating glitches and the constant survivor pushes and the time limit, and it was just more anxiety than it was worth back then. And I gave up. Not right around the time I'm talking. I did play it for several more hours. I got pretty deep into it, but it just became frustrating. So when Dead Rising 2 came out, I didn't buy it right away, but it dropped in price significantly on Steam, and I tried it then. And while I had a lot more fun than the first time, when I got to the psychos to fight them, it just didn't work for me. I'm not a huge boss battle type of person for the most part. I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of a wuss in that regard. And these just annoyed me because, like, for example, the showgirls are wearing nothing but their bikinis, and you're just loading them up with weapons that mow through hundreds of zombies in some cases, and they're just like, whatever, and just flipping around. It just seems silly, and I couldn't get into it. I just couldn't get into the camp of it at that time. But when Dead Rising 3 came out, I embraced its camp with no problem. I guess it was just the right time in my gaming life to enjoy that kind of thing, and I really loved it so much that I actually finished the whole game, and I almost 100%ed it. The formula was perfect for me at that moment. So when I saw that Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster was coming out, I honestly thought that it was going to include all three games for some reason. Maybe it was the price that got me thinking that. I mean, these are older games, so I thought that'd be kind of cool. But as I got closer, I noticed that it was just an overhaul of the original game, which that's fine too, considering I hadn't finished it. So I thought, hey, this will be a good enough time to try it again. And I had a lot of good luck with the Resident Evil remakes, so I thought maybe this will be similar. And I grabbed it on day one, got it installed, gave it a try. The bugs that prevented me from enjoying the first go around weren't there this time, and so that was cool. You know, I was able to get through the intro without a crash. I got through the food court without a crash, all that stuff. Some of the survivors seemed a little smarter, but it just wasn't that new of an experience. Considering the drama that I went through to get the game working the first time, I have a very deep memory of how it played and what it was like. And so jumping into this, while it does look a little better, and in some cases a lot better, but mostly just a little better, it just wasn't so dramatically different to be worth a full-priced game. You know, games that came after this one built on the concept and added all kinds of quality of life improvements. Dead Rising Remaster puts a fresh coat of paint on this one. It adds the autosave, but at its heart, it's still Dead Rising 1. It still has a lot of the clunkiness, which might be great nostalgia for people who got through the original one and really enjoyed it. I wasn't super lazy back in 2006. I tended to work toward getting 100% on the achievements for games on my Xbox. But Dead Rising didn't balance the constant barrage of nonsense coming from Otis, and I got to hate the walkie-talkie, with focusing on the main story and just causing trouble. I know that eventually you can unlock the idea that you could just do whatever you want, but I kind of wanted a little bit more of the open world early on in the game. And that's just my level of entitlement. And, you know, that's not holding anything against the game. They did a good job of making something that had a severe case of anxiety. It really did make me feel like I needed to move, which is both cool and not. At that time, I wasn't looking for that kind of experience when I was playing a game, despite how well they did with it. So this time around, I'd say the nagging wasn't quite as annoying, mostly because I could listen to it and I didn't have to stop what I was doing and read it. But I would have really preferred them to space it out a little bit more, both back then and now. Combat in this new version, it really felt super floaty at the beginning, and it didn't really have an impact. Like, I had the baseball bat and I was whacking zombies in the face, and at first it didn't have any sense of contact. But I think I just needed to get used to the way it flowed, because once I'd killed even just 50 zombies, it really gave some more of that back. It was almost like I had to reacclimate to the way the game worked. It was very interesting in that regard. I wasn't really expecting that. I thought it was going to be floaty the whole time. I didn't expect to find it kind of engaging. Now, despite that fact, my problem is that judging distance between you and a zombie is still kind of problematic. And the way that Frank swings his weapons, he loves to overextend. So if you miss, even though it looks like you are within the hitbox, he has overextended so much that it's almost a guarantee that they're going to jump on you and you'll have to tap the button to escape, or they'll get you on the ground and you got to do the quick time action, which is, again, frustrating because you're probably mashing the X button, but the quick time could be anything. So that's just something to think about. When I fought the first Psycho, I was actually surprised at how easy he was. I had a much harder time fighting him the first go round. This time, he just sort of stood there and got shot in the face, which got rid of him fast enough. But of course, the fact that I had to shoot him in the head over and over, an unarmored guy, not wearing a helmet or anything, more than 10 times, it's one of the reasons that I wasn't super excited for Dead Rising 2's Psychos. And again, you know, boss fights, whatever. You know, call it what you will and call me what you will. I just don't dig that myself. And it did make me wonder if the DHS was only handing out airsoft pistols, but that's just me. Frank also moves pretty slow for my tastes. I would have liked to have an added sprint feature, but that's just my impatience talking, and I'm sure it would have caused more heartache for the development. Honestly, I wish they would have just remade it like they did the Resident Evil games. Those are just stunning, and I think they work a lot better than this. During the cutscenes, the characters in this sort of move like they've got the disease from Johnny Mnemonic. You know, they kind of twitch out and they're looking around and their eyes move a little bit wild. You can really see how the models are somewhat misshapen with the structure of 15 years plus. Frank in particular is just a box of a man. Just sort of big shoulders, and the outfits sort of lay on him in such a way to make it look like he's some kind of bodybuilder or something. It's just kind of funny. And the close-ups don't do much to sell the fact that the graphics have been improved. In fact, it kind of drives the age home rather than that. Now, despite everything I've said and all the complaining, and again, I'm going to take most of the credit for that as being me, not the game, I actually am enjoying Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster. I don't think it's worth $50 on the PC or $60 for the version with all those cosmetic DLC items. I don't feel like they did enough to the game to make it worth more than $30. An early access review kind of solidified my opinion on that because they talked a lot about the stuff that I already did, including the fact that they changed the voice actor from Frank. And some people say it's because Capcom doesn't like working with union folks. I don't know. I couldn't find too much information about that. So I'm not saying the game isn't worth playing, though. I definitely get it on a steep discount because that's absolutely coming. Considering they re-released the game back in 2016 and it's only $10 right now on Steam. Honestly, if you've waited this long, you can wait a little longer. There's no benefit to rushing ahead, and it's not like you're avoiding spoilers considering it's almost 20 years old. Anyway, that's my take on Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster. It'll be a fun enough distraction, but the cost is heavy for what you get. Considering how many other zombie killing options there are out there for less money, including this game from just 2016, it'd be hard to justify jumping on right now, unless you're bound by nostalgia and just gotta get in there right this second. The mall will be there in a few months, so right now just grab a chainsword and go play Space Marine 2. I think you'll be a lot happier. Thanks again for watching, and please make sure that you like and subscribe, or drop a comment down below to tell me what you thought of Dead Rising, either the original one, the game they came out with in 2016, or even this new one. If you're having a great time, let me know. Thanks again. See you next time.
Dr. Barnaby.